I believe that this police officer who's going to talk, I've had to tape it because I'm out and I just want to put my comments down. He's telling the truth because basically I was one of these, well, I wasn't one of these PPI people, but they stuck me in PPI. And when you learn what the law is, you know that it's fraud. But they didn't want to wake up for me, and I had 2 ombudsmen, and it took to the independent assessor who can't change your case but could see what had gone on and then told them off. But it was a bit late then because my case had been done. So basically, I had wrong charges put on my bank account. It was the PPI, that is the link, but it's still wrong charges. When wrong charges go on your account, basically, that is something totally different than the PPI thing they're talking about. So I never signed for it. It should never have been on my account. The bank, through a telephone call, when you activated your card, which you don't have to do anymore, you just have to use your card nowadays, that activates it. But in those days, you had to ring this number up and then it would activate the card. And when they did that, it stuck PPI on. But I didn't realise it was on my account for a really long time. And then what it was is I found out, so I said to the bank, well, can you send me all the details? They said, well, it's a few years ago now, so we've thrown it away. They made me go to the ombudsman, which I didn't want to do. They made me go. The ombudsman made me wait 5 years. And at the end, they said, well, there's nothing we can do now because of the time it's taken. But the only people to hold the time was the ombudsman, who are bought by the banks. They're a government body doing nothing. And then what happened was, with this information, this is why the independent assessor said something, was that the information should have been sent to me. It was my information. But no, the bank sent it straight to the ombudsman and missed me out. Went with the ombudsman. So that was breaking the law, and they covered themselves. And then they used, it's taken 5 years, it's too long, we can't do anything about it. Well, it was more than that, because it was a few years, because it takes, it probably was a year or 2 before that, and then I went to the ombudsman, and then it was 5 years. So I know this guy's telling the truth, because I went to the fraud squad who wouldn't take it on, because what it showed me was that the banks are trading in fraud, because they did it to me. And what it is when you look up the law of it all, when a problem like that happens, when a bank has a mistake and it puts a PPI product wrongly charged to your account that you never signed for or wanted onto your account, the chief executive of that bank would have known about it. And it also is wrong because it puts wrong debt on your account, and it means that your credit rating is wrong. So it breaks all these data things, and they still went with the bank, even though they broke the law and they treated me disgusting. And what it is these companies with PPI that get in touch with you, they have thousands of people like me who were charged these charges. We never even asked for PPI. And the really crazy thing is the bank gave back the PPI to people who had signed for it. It just didn't work for them, because if you're self-employed, it wouldn't have worked for you. But they gave back the money to the people who'd signed for it, and people like me who'd never asked for it and just found it one day on our accounts and then tried to work out what is going on because we never signed for it. We didn't get helped at all, and we got shoved into the PPI. To me, that was fraud. It made me realise the banks were trading in fraud. And now this police officer has found even more. By the way, the independent assessor went in my favour, but she couldn't change my case. And then they sent me a document saying, do you want this legally binding? Come on. Because they could then put down that I agreed with what they did. I said, no way in hell. So they left me totally uncomfortable. It means I've got extra debt because they didn't give me all the money back. They've got extra debt because of it on my credit rating, and they lied and they protected the bank. The banks are always protected. The ombudsman work for the bank, or the government works for the banks. It's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I know what they did to me. I called it fraud. I went to the fraud squad because it's fraud to do that. Because the chief executive is told, and he lumped us into the PPI fiasco, which we weren't. Wrong charges put on your account for something is something totally different. It means different law should have covered me. It means I should have got all the money back, and I didn't because they stuck me into the PPI stupid thing. So this guy is telling the truth. It is fraud. They are fraud. They need to go, the whole lot. We're in some fraudulent society, taking taxes from us and sorting our whole lives out for us on minimum wage for what? They are evil. They need this, maybe this is the beginning of the breakdown. It's beginning to happen. Thank God. What I did was, my bank balance was creeping up, so I took a loan out and the PPI was put on my bank account. But when it was transferred to the loan, they didn't give me the money back from the loan. So I only got it back from the bank balance where they charged me, and not the loan I took out to pay the bank off with the big amount of money. Do you see what I mean? So I was charged twice for the PPI, but I only got it back once. What's frustrating is that I took the loan out to pay off the debt in the bank, which had the PPI on it. But they wouldn't give me the PPI back from the loan, only the bank account. But that means I was charged twice. And I can't remember how much money I got back now, but I'm probably £500-600 in debt extra that wasn't my debt. It was the PPI being put onto my bank account. I mean, that is just disgusting, isn't it? So that is fraud, because they didn't give me the money back. That's fraud. And then they made me wait 5 years. So as said, the independent assessor went in my favour, but she couldn't change my case. But it still meant I had the fraud on my credit rating. I mean, that is disgusting. There are thousands and thousands of people like me. It's disgusting. Anyway, we're going to carry on now because I keep making little bits and sticking them in. But what it is there's two types of data protection. One is about information about you, and one is about if you've got a wrong credit rating because of debt which has been put onto your account, the debt on my bank account with this added PPI, which I never asked for, which was wrongly put on my account, which means that's wrong charges put on my account, which gave me this extra debt in my bank account, which I took a loan out to cover that debt. But they only gave it back to me from the bank account, not from the loan, for the exact amount of money from the bank overdrawn bit that I put into a loan. So the bank knew I only took the loan out to pay my bank balance. And in that was the wrong information about my credit history, which means it breaks the law, because all these bodies, when your credit rating goes out, everybody sees your credit rating. And if it's wrong, then that breaks the law. So I proved it, but they would not change it because they just wanted to bury me, because it was breaking the law, fraud, and all of it. It is disgusting what they've done. The police officer now.
Hello there. Sorry, just confirm I am speaking to HMRC, aren't I?
Oh, yeah, you are speaking with HMRC. You're through to self-assessment line.
Lovely, and I'm Gary Wharton. What's your name, please?
My name is Jen.
Oh, that's a nice name.
Thank you.
That's a very nice. Oh, it's very nice. So I've called up a few days ago to make a complaint, and I haven't heard anything. So can you just confirm the call is being recorded?
Of course, the all the calls are being recorded for security check purposes.
Lovely. What I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, can I explain what the complaint is, and then you can play it obviously to your managers and things like that. Is that okay?
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I also have some of the notes on your account, so I'm also reading that while I'm listening to you. Okay.
Lovely. Thank you. So I'm a former police officer. I was in the police for 18 years. Okay,
Right.
and what I'm about to tell you, I have an almost 100,000 word statement and thousands of supporting documents in relation to it, okay?
Right.
Since September 2022, I've identified serious fraud within the taxation system of the country involving the falsification of companies' house registers and documents and using forged bank documents being supplied by the bank. Okay, I've spoken to a former fraud Met detective officer, sorry, my friend has, but he doesn't want to be identified, that confirms this is true. The information I have shows that the National Crime Agency, the Financial Conduct Authority, College of Policing, the Police and Crime Commissioner's Office, formerly a former company, the Association of Chief Constables, councils and councillors are all involved and linked to this system of fraud. As I said, everything is documented. There is also overwhelming evidence linking this system of fraud to the World Trade Center disaster.
I just want to confirm, is the fraud in regards to your self-assessment?
It is, yeah. It all
Right.
relates to it, because I'm refusing to do my self-assessment as a result of this, what I've identified.
Oh, okay.
All right. So if I,
But there's nothing that's due on the account either.
no, I know, but I'm not paying any tax at all, and I'll come. If I could just finish explain.
You're gonna come to, yeah, sorry,
If
my
I-
bad. I just
That's all
wanted
right.
to confirm that. Just
No
writing
problem.
it down.
No
Sorry.
problem. That's all right. So every bit of research in relation to the World Trade Center disaster links through to this fraud. So what I mean by that is all of the tenants and everyone surrounding that building links through to the same system of fraud, okay? The fraud links to the PPE scandals that's been on the news.
See, when he mentions the PPI fraud, he's talking about people like me who were put into it with wrong charges, and instead of it being dealt with the right law and the right protection, they lumped us in the PPI fiasco and we didn't get paid properly. We didn't get our money back. I only got half my money back. So this is what this guy's talking about, the PPI fraud, because that's what it was. And that went to High Court. So they're involved as well because they passed it all. And the Ombudsman told me that they were trying to sort it out because they obviously knew what it was, but they made us wait years so that we couldn't be helped. But this is what this police officer is talking about. The PPI fraud is that's what I was put into. This fraud thing where it's on a loan. I have taken a loan, it's on my bank account. I've taken a loan out to pay that off. So I got charged twice. And I only got the money back once. And I didn't really get that much of a sorry or any compensation for it, for having that on my account for years and not knowing about it. And then they lost my information and then they sent it to the Ombudsman instead of sending it to me. That is also breaking the law. It's all just bananas. Anyway, we're going to carry on with the video now.
Royal Mail, Fujitsu and Horizon fraud that's been mentioned on the news recently. The Teesside fraud investigations that's been going on, the Green Seal frauds in relation to David Cameron, the Cadwallader University fraud, and much, much more. Okay, Dorset Police have twice produced confirmation of an immunity being given to banks to produce these forged bank documents being used in circulation to falsify figures to companies' house by certain companies. Things that have happened since I reported this, I'm going to list those. The head of the Serious Fraud Office, Michael Lockwood, has been removed, supposedly due to sexual allegations against him. The head of the Serious Fraud Office, Lisa Osofsky, has been removed. The Chief Constable of Dorset Police, Scott Chilton, has been moved. The Deputy Chief Constable of Dorset Police, Sam DeRaya, has been moved. The head of Bournemouth Council, where I live, Andrew Meller, has resigned. Most are linked through to the fraud through Companies House. Most of the people I've just mentioned, despite despite operating since 1844, on the 26th of October 2023, since I've been reporting this fraud, Companies House has publicised proposals to verify details of some company registrations, but not all. This means that they can be selective on who can be utilising this fraudulent system. This is very important. There are several deaths linked to this fraud. Okay, one is a previous colleague of mine, Neil Monroe, an inspector of Dorset Police. I believe he has possibly been murdered in relation to what I've identified. Michael Todd, the Chief Constable of Manchester Police, I also believe has been murdered in relation to this suspect. Peter Lawson, who is the Assistant Chief Constable of Lancashire Police. It's also connected to the death of Nicola Bulley and all of the companies surrounding Nicola Bulley. The fraud links heavily in relation to companies surrounding Madeleine McCann. I suspect that the deaths of Robert Maxwell, Max Clifford and Jeffrey Epstein are all linked in relation to this fraud, because all of their companies are linked through to this as well. Ghislaine Maxwell is linked heavily through to this fraud. Many MPs within our parliament are linked through to this fraud. As a result of my inquiries, I've been followed. I've had apps trying to track my wife's and I's location. I've had emails deleted from my phone, and attempts have been made to take items from my van. My wife and I cannot return home, and I've been placed in danger by the Independent Office for Police Conduct, who have supplied my statement to Dorset Police despite there being clear evidence of their involvement and them supplying information to a prime suspect in relation to this fraud, who was a former Dorset police officer who is clearly involved in this. Now, I worked for Dorset Police. Now, I am happy to pay my tax in future, but with this evidence, there must now be a transparent taxation system at the source of transactions, showing the collective income and expenditure of tax contributions. Can you tell me why this hasn't already been put in place? Because the technology is there to do so.
Sorry, I'm just trying to go back. So
I know.
This is in regards to your tax that you have been flooded into the. I'm trying to understand what really happened here.
So basically, the whole taxation system is a fraudulent criminal system. So I cannot pay. I cannot pay my tax because I will become complicit to the crime that is being used. It's now been proven through the documents I've got that many government organisations are involved in this, and because they're using forged bank documents to falsify figures, it means my tax money isn't being used as I'm being told, and it's actually going into the back pockets of multi-millionaires through a criminal process. Okay, so I'm not paying it anymore. Okay, the other thing that needs to be done is that legislation needs to be put in place to prevent members of parliament and officials having the ability to make decisions regarding tax contributions for their own personal gain. Full verification of existing and new company registrations with Companies House is now essential. Okay, because what's happening is people are using false details to register companies, meaning they cannot be held accountable for using taxpayers' contributions in illegal or legitimate activities. And this is what's happening with the PPE scandals and everything I've just mentioned to you. Evidential statement. I'm just going to finish, if that's okay, if you don't mind.
No, of course, please, go ahead.
Please play this to all your managers and whoever you want, and if they want to contact...
To be honest, I was just, of course, what I'm going to do, because this is like a big inquiry and this is like a big complaint, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get in touch with my team leader. I'm going to call them just after you finish up with whatever you need to tell me, and I will kind of like advise them on what you have said, we'll go from there. I mean, my team leader would be a better person to talk to in regards to this, because it's out of my remit. Like,
I understand. I understand.
I'm just an advisor. I'm just a phone call.
I understand. I completely understand. Just for the purpose.
I'm just one of you. I'm one of you.
Completely understand. I appreciate that. I mean, it's more because the call's being recorded. I'm just going to finish the last little bit, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Evidential statements must be taken confirming the authenticity or not of the acquired forged bank documents that I've had. So far, Dorset Police are refusing to obtain evidential statements confirming if they're correct or if they're authentic or not. They're clearly forged bank documents. I've still got them. Okay, and that means they're allowing these bank documents to be used committing a crime against the public. There must be a commitment to prevent any further action to move to a cashless society now, which risks enslaving people to this fraud that I've just told you about. Now, obviously, the government are making moves for a cashless society. This evidence I have now obtained shows that cannot happen because there will be nothing anyone can do to prevent it carrying on. I also request that because this has now been identified as a criminal system, I request a full rebate of all of my previous tax contributions, and that is a request I am going to be making as well, because I cannot pay tax into a criminal system. And there you go. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. But you might have to. I'm so sorry to say this, but you might have to kind of repeat most of the
problem,
things that
no
you said.
problem.
Not all of them, obviously not all of them, but
No
most
problem.
of them to my team leader.
No problem at all.
I just tried to get in touch, but she's on lunch till 2:30.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is going to take your... I'm so sorry, by the way. My team leader
don't
got me,
apologise.
she's
Don't
literally at
apologise.
lunch. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
Is it okay if I take your number,
Yes.
right, a memorable word from you, a daytime and a preferable time that you would want us to call you back, and we will call you back with a will-held number and explain, you can explain all of this
No problem.
to my team leader who can
No problem.
actually contribute in, what to do next. Because like I said,
Of
I'm
course.
sorry, that's out of my remit. There's not much
I
can
understand.
do except for just kind of give an advice to you.
I understand.
But I just want to say though, I know this calls do get recorded and whatever that is, but I agree with exactly what you're saying. And yeah.
Okay, bless you. I'm sorry to put this on you. I know it's a lot to take in and comprehend, and I appreciate that.
And I'm kind of shocked about it, kind of thrown back about it. Makes me emotional, but it's whatever. Okay, can I please take your number?
Yes. So it's
We will contact you on a withheld number, so please
That's
do
fine.
answer.
No problem.
Can I please... Yeah, no, it's okay. Can I please get a password, you on the preferred daytime and the time that you would want us to call back? Any
you can try
possibilities?
any time really. Ideally, if we could say between today would be great, but I appreciate if you can't. But if we say between 2 and 4 in any time, any day between 2 and 4 in the afternoon.
Any day between 2 and 4 in the afternoon.
If that's okay,
Right.
Yeah, that would be, and I can make sure my phone's available.
Yeah, she will get back to you in the next 2 working days. If she has the time today, she will get back today.
Bless
If
you.
not, she will definitely sort it out by Monday. Just give me a second. Just need to add also the call ID so that she can listen to this call.
Of course.
Just a second.
No
My
problem.
bad.
Thank you so much for listening. I know it's not a nice thing to hear.
I'm not listening to it. It's really sad.
It is sad. It's very sad. Very sad.
Yeah. You called 10 minutes ago, so I'll put...
Well, I have written to this police officer, and there is my response there. Oh, I could have gone on for ages and ages and ages, but you can't, can you? So that is my response. I will leave it there for a few minutes so that you can read it.
1358. Yep. No, don't worry. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, you've been really good. Thank you.
Of course. To hear this from also a police officer, you know.
Yeah, I mean, very fortunately, I've got the sort of knowledge and skills to have acquired all of the evidence over the last, well, since September 2022. If I hadn't have been a police officer, I wouldn't have known what I needed to evidence it all and collate it all. So it's been very, very useful.
Right. No, definitely. It's good to know these things. I'm not even going to lie.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just filling out these details.
No problem.
In your UTR and your national insurance so that it's...
Thank you.
No, of course. Like I said, it's what I'm here for. I can only put one number in at the moment, but I will add the additional number. Shall I put your number and details of the complaint? I'm just going to say...
Don't know how you're going to summarise that. So... I mean, it's basically fraud involving the company's house registration system and forged bank documents.
I just put fraud company house registration. They should know.
Okay. And because it relates to the taxation system, then obviously that's why I'm calling you about it.
Of course. Okay. I'm sending her the email right now.
Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. I'll update on the notes as well and add your wife's number too. And yeah, I mean, I hope you can get it all sorted out.
Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. But is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, you've been great, and I'm sorry to put this on you, and I hope you have a good evening. Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much. No, don't worry about it. I hope you have a great evening too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.